Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shaquan. I am the fourth vice president of the Democratic Party, the spokesperson for legal affairs and development. I am also the president of the Alliance. This may members some time to work. As we start, I'm going to give you a brief history of the Astor B lecture. This snippet is from the Complex Booklet 2024. On April 18, 2017, Astor B celebrated his 95th birthday. On that occasion, the members of the Democratic Party renamed a long-standing weekly lecture series in his honor. At that time, the late Dame Maisie Barker Welch, another stalwart, delivered remarks at the naming ceremony and described him as a perfect example of allegiance. Astor is a Dem and will always be a Dem. In addition to being one of the brains behind the lecture series, he was described as a party faithful who ensured the Democratic Party remained active while in opposition. Another long-standing member, Clay Chase, shared that Astor B. Watts was one member who helped keep the momentum of the DLP going after its 1976 defeat. According to the former General Secretary George Coburn, Comrade Watts was one of the driving forces behind the establishment and the continuity of the DLP Lunchtime Lecture. And it is definitely an honor to start back the Lunchtime Lectures because it has been missed by the members of the party and the public. For our first speaker today, I will be introducing a person that everybody knows. So I'm going to read a bit from his bio. Mr. Jaff Broomes has reached an extraordinary level of achievement and have worked meticulously in the service of Barbados that will impact for decades to come. He was an educator, a teacher, and an administrator for over 41 years. Served as president of the Barbados Union of Teachers, in the Barbados Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools. Has given free common interest lessons throughout the island for the past 31 years and recently expanded his service to 3 different locations: Barbados Public Library in Independence Square, the headquarters of the National Union of Public Workers, and the Rainbow Road and the Bull Road in Fullerton Hill. Bull Road, correction. In his contribution to sports, he served as a cricket master of the St. Lucie Secondary School, managed and combined schools team in the Division 1 competitions for many years. He also managed the Barbados under 19 and under 15 national seniors team. From community development, he used his personal funds to develop a playing field for youngsters of Bull Road, Bush Hall, and Schooners Hill, 1975, which eventually became the home for the area LC cricket team, the home of night cricket, and the center of various football tournaments. I know we do not have enough time to read the entirety of Mr. Broomes' bio because he is a legend in his own right. No, he is. He has contributed over many years to the education system and to so many lives. And I want every single person here today give him a round of applause as he
Thank you very much, Bonnie. And good afternoon, everyone. And once you run back here, so this is people you want to walk with this, huh? I have something you might be looking for your system. It's a book that I wrote on history in St. Louis Secondary School, a place that made me into what I am today. I know that very, very well. Now, I want to say thank you to the organization, Chikwani, local leader Ralph, and all of you for giving me this opportunity. I think this is the third Astor B lecture I've done. And it's important to me because Astor B was a great, great friend of mine. When I came back to Barbados in 1975, we wanted to develop cricket fields, you know, one that Chikwani mentioned just he was working on the side at the time. He made sure that we got a roller. He made sure that we got support to purchase equipment and we need bats and whatever. He was ready to help. But best thing, remember, for the 95th birthday, he invited me to his home in Carrington Village and fed me with the most delicious pork chop possible. I'm telling you that. He even gave me one to take home. And I grudgingly shared it with my wife. And who put her assessment in the exact same zone. Anyway, though, when Chikwani called me about this lecture, I was surprised, but I was pleased because it's a topic that I feel very strongly about. And this whole day of crime and violence in our country, and especially in our schools. So I will not delay, and she told me a lot of time to talk. And one thing I've always been told, you never ever tell a principal you can talk to nothing. They don't know the shut up. It's like also a principal is never late. Something late, so you go for these. Okay, combating crime and violence, charting a positive course for our nation's future. That is my topic. And I will begin. This is my homeland. I said all. This is my homeland, the place I was born in. No matter where I go, it's in my soul. My feet may wander 1,000 places, but my heart will lead me back home to my Barbados. I think the world famous singer, and I think everybody will know that, for so aptly capturing the love that I have for this country that has given me more than one ever expected to go for. This is indeed my homeland and the place that I love. But the recent spate of violent acts, including killings, have left me to wonder if this is how we show our love. Today, our country has taken on a cloudy midnight ambience, in which the picture is vastly different from what we've known. We're now defined by drugs, which are widespread in use and availability, with resultant negative impacts, crime and violence, which are diverse, endemic, reckless, and frightening, threats to law and order, which are vocal, pointing, and disconcerting. There are also attacks on authority, with obvious attempts to delegitimize our elected leaders. Disrespect is also rampant in the home, the school, and in general society, reinforced with public displays from so-called societal leaders. Too many of our identified leaders engage in simple accommodation, upholding and defending disrespectful actions and inappropriate conduct. This is driven by the fact that everyone has a friend. So rather than correct, you opt instead to defend and even enable. In some other countries, young people are giving their lives in defense of what their country stands for, its values and its traditions. Recently, we've been seeing the converse of what should be. Nothing of these recent acts should be seen as temporary or just behavior of a misguided few. Loss of life is always permanent, and the examples we set are always learned. Young people are emulators, and young, impactful minds are spun accordingly. I was always told that when you throw mud on the wall, it always flatters. No matter how much you scrub it off, his stains still remain. So it is with these acts of deviance and crime. As I look back over my days of watching different westerns in the cinema and on television, I was a big fan of Pico's Horrors and the others. One thing I know for sure is that none of the infamous veterans of the Wild West ever had benefited of good education or positive role models. Intellectual development was lacking, conflict resolution skills were lacking, and positive values from positive impactful role models were never inculcated in any of them. Hence, crime, violence, and death as the answer to the absolute manifestation of the day. The clear statement here is that when education fails or is missing, and when one feels aggrieved or in conflict, violent acts are natural corollaries. Education is not simply about learning maths and grammar. Education of youth, in its true sense, is about academic, yes, character development as well. Each must be addressed in very specific and well thought of approaches, both formal and informal. We've always been proud of our education, even to the point of shouting out the 98% literacy rate from the book in top, whether or not it is ever true. Even in those days when literacy was defined by the simple acts of reading and writing, and I have no doubts that it ever really was at that level 98%. Our education that worked so well for us in the past is now the perverted albatross around our necks. It has traditionally been seen as the vehicle for child development and national progression. No. Now, however, we have come to see it as an opportunity for gloating over successes in one examination or the other. Simply ego massaging over the top scholars or the minority, while ignoring the fact that for every one success, there are 400 or 500 performers who are being ignored, sidelined, and left in need of help. These become easy targets for the vultures of society and the lure of deviance. This is even more debilitating today when the definition and thrust of education, literacy, has shifted and moved on into the area of utility. Knowing is fine, but being able to manipulate and use information in practical and necessary ways is even more important. I have a firm belief that we as a society are letting down a significant number of young people whose intellectual and emotional needs are not being addressed. Even good programs such as the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ, are not getting the dedicated push that we need. Yes, we provide our children mandatory schooling. We provide them with opportunities for information transfer. We provide them with good facilities in the main. We provide them with well-educated and talented teachers. And of course, we see that they're well attired and well fed. There are many guidance counselors in our school who try their very best, but a ratio of 1 to 7, 8, or 900 does not benefit the patient. Yet, the children most in need are those who are struggling and are seeking, in many non-verbal ways, significant emotional support. Education should be about improving the individual in his or her respective area of need and inculcating the necessary societal values more so than on delivering information that is only internalized and replaced by a minority of students. All are expected to be prepared for their roles as good citizens, not just a few. Classroom teachers can only do so much alone, hence the majority of students are left to wonder. And this is where we are today. We have encouraged a society of the haves and the have-nots. Educational opportunities are guaranteed for some, while the majority are treated as simple second-class citizens who are promoted to students within the school who, as I've heard some of my colleagues say, should be set up and out. Up into society where the vultures are ready to build and get made in to do their bidding. Indeed, this assault on our children begins during their time at school, with drugs being transferred and feuds being vicariously settled. In the end, our country is the worst off. We then criticize the youth. We even criticize the leadership of our police service and everyone in the sun without addressing or seeking to assess. to assist in the addressing of the fundamental issues that serve as the foundation blocks for developing good citizenship. I will remember a number of years ago when our then Commissioner of Police identified a significant number of gangs operating within a specific area that he and his subordinates were focused on disseminating. Instead of getting the full support of our national spokespersons, some of the more vocal public spokesmen took time on our radio stations to criticize and even condemn the commissioner. I felt badly because my friend informed me. That's one of our problems. Everybody has a friend. And I dare say, a benefactor and principle is needed. So how do we get out of this position that we are in? There are some who simply advise that the only way is to go to law and murder. That is just too simplistic and makes assumptions that are inaccurate. Everybody does not have the same view about religion and God. And let's be clear with that. I may have a very strong views on religion. I see Jesus as a savior, but lots of people don't. And if you're going to talk about that, what about them? They will still move on. I suspect most of the criminals do not buy into religion like we do. The annual expenditure on education is quite large and suggests that education is seen by the authorities who make decisions on our behalf as important, relevant, and necessary for national growth. That is, but if we choose to invest to such an extent, we must insist on results, both in academics and in character development. Virtual value for money. This congruence is not being insisted upon in any way at all. I don't say anywhere in society. If one feels mistreated and unfair, one sees the need to seek satisfaction and to defend and reclaim what is seen as worthy and to which he or she is entitled. The violence train continues its journey down the track. I wonder how many of us are comfortable in the knowledge that more than 60% of our students are leaving school annually with absolutely no certification at all. Our current Prime Minister bemoaned this when she was Minister of Education back in the 1990s, and she was right then and persists to this day. When I became principal of the last school at which I worked, I discovered that for each of the 5 preceding years before I arrived, more than that percent, to be exact, 65% had left school without a single certificate. And in most cases, they were not even given the opportunity to take the examination for certification. What a crying shame. Of course, when I put systems in place to address that matter, all I started was another Jaff BRS case. But anybody who knows me knows I fear one human being, and she's 13 years old. My God. No one else. That's a fact of this country and a total misuse of the financial investment that they expended on this special area called education. These days, we do not even hear what I saw as a call to assist those who were the classroom shining lights, who were not the classroom shining lights. Back in those days, we hear, let him get a trade. You don't hear that anymore. Our carpenters, our masons, our painters, our plumbers, and such like emanated from that all-important mantra. So sad, no go. As that special African proverb proclaims, it takes a village to raise a child. That is equally true of what is needed to address the problem with which we are now faced. Let me emphasize my position by outwardly stating that no individual, no organization, no structured committee, and certainly no government on its own can assume to have all the answers, but must simply be seeing itself as adding in particular ingredients to the pot with a combined expectation of producing that very tasty and nutritious soup. Each one of us must put in our ingredient. The government may put in big deal. The parents may put in the dumplings. Somebody else may put in the sweet potatoes. Somebody cucumber. Somebody the pumpkin. Somebody put the onions. What if we put in? You, somebody put in okras. Each of us is combining and never seen that we have all the answers ourselves. No one does. Now, so how do we define our village in this exercise? Because this, like they said, calls for an entire village operation. Now, our village. The government must play its part through its policies, finances, and coordinated structures, but it cannot do all. Now, this is why I want to say something. Recently, there's been a large cry, very large cry for metal detectors at school. Everybody showing up to talk metal detectors, but the way our schools are built and the structure of our school compounds, that will never be a success. It can be a tool, it will never be great use of metal detectors, but it cannot. The easiest thing for any school child to do. Good morning. What do they wear when they do things? Sunday they go pick it up. All our schools, that's how our schools are built. I'm not saying don't use metal detectors, but don't expect the outstanding success that you think you will bring. It just won't. What I'm suggesting, rather, do not try only to identify who the proper school levels, but inculcate a thought process I should not bring to school levels. It's called character. Character. Parents must play their part, but they must be supported and held accountable for the actions of their children. Let me give this one. We hold parents accountable if they keep their children away from school. But we must also ascribe some accountability to them for the deviant, disruptive behaviors the children bring into the school environment. You can't. How do we feel like? No. Schools have standards. You or the parent must give support for those standards. And you must train your children and direct them in ways to respect what is going on in the school. The legal authorities, like here say, Barber's Police Service, they have a to play. But they must be supported. These trained professionals should never in any way feel hamstrung. Give them the resources and the support and let them do the job that they're there to do. I am the biggest supporter of police forces and police systems. But for several reasons. Good. I know some people are just big on force. But truth be told, I'm 70 years old. Christmas Day I was 71. But not, but I can notice it last year when grandmother, my mother, told her, my mother gave me this. I went to the fridge to get a glass. I said, Broomer, bring me an orange juice. My grandmother, Broomer, it's your grandfather, look how granddad. My 11-year-old grandmother said, Brad, doesn't old people names, you don't know it. Love her. The school, the significant shapers of mind, must be on the front line in this battle as trainers and example setters. It is a significant challenge to be uneducated. Indeed, there are some who are not cut. Like I say to you, go in any place in Broad Street, any place, any store, any business, and you will find at least one person, I used to teach. Because most of them, I don't say most of them, too many people see the teaching service as a second. And it should not be that. This is a dedicated profession. I like the opportunity too. That's why we need our primary school system is enough to fail. Because in the secondary school system, we have specialist teachers. English teacher, you don't care about teaching chemistry. You're a math teacher, like I say, but in our primary schools, we have generalists. What a teacher is everything that they're not trained for. The same way of specialists in secondary school, that specialists in primary schools are just for children's needs. The foundation blocks should be stronger. This can only be realized in strong teaching service through a fair and consistent regulatory evaluations. I was surprised with our student teachers. We work with the Ministry of Education to develop evaluations. What was happening to it? Nobody said that the evaluation for teacher appraisal should be there to punish anybody. They said improve you. If you're not seeing it improve for you, maybe that profession not for you. Maybe it's just you have to make this hard decisions. Obviously, it's yourself, I'm not done checking grade schools out. Ask many classrooms in Barbados today, you see teachers out. One of my big supporters with my last school, I had to pull her up for that too. And we're still very close to this because if something wrong, it's wrong. It can't be wrong in checking everything right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. Full stop. Teachers deserve fairness, and children deserve the utmost dedication. That's what we're doing. So these are all some of what must go into the pot to the soup to deal with the problem. The last one comes out now is civil society. Civil society, almost all of whom have previously benefited from what the country has so generously given us, must also accept our responsibility in curbing this negativity that's damaging our country. All of us benefit. Let's people like to talk the word give back. You know, pay much attention when you're in talk giving back. Because 8 out of 10 times when they don't give back, when they say they give back, you're supposed to give it. How should you do? If you're giving back, you're giving voluntarily. And I feel strongly about that. That's why, let me tell a little story. Tell the story. I did it a little bit. I launched a new book on Wednesday evening at the public. Even if it very reading is there, maybe she was important. Somebody asked me the question, how long did it take you to write this? 345 pages. English and maths and problem. The best story was in October 1993. I was teaching at the Lucy Secondary School. My daughter's school at Lucy Primary. I came up with her before we had a practice. My daughter sitting in the back of my head. She had just left combination systems. But she was in class. And she's very angry. And I was going on with us about it. I said, no, she said, you pay for me to go like this. And she named 4 of her friends. They have to be same test too. They don't get lessons. Now here I was thinking my daughter learned double good lessons. But she tricked me. She did something that never in his life. She bowled a googly at me. By simply saying, and you can help. I said, where's the other 16? He got home and said, what's this? She said, she read from course, she gave me 8 names. I went to the school next morning to her principal, and that's one of these children's groups. And, you know, he was a stranger, but he gave me, he simply knew me very, very well. He was her principal, but with us, he was like a combination teacher. So he knew. I called him, and for the next Saturday, they were meeting me at the bus stop, the flight station of St. James. I'm going to my house lessons. And that is October 1993. That was a favorite of my daughter. And since then, I've been teaching lessons every year since then. With one caveat, I will never charge the service. Never. Because I know with those children in company, they're not getting in trouble. And I give a sense. So that's all part of it. In this point of that point of the point of 6 it is this point of point that informs my recommendation. As I said earlier, I do not suggest that I have all the answers. No, what has been my my proposal as a panacea? Just cannot be no one other panacea. I am simply entering the sweet potato into the pot from which the solution will be working. This is an area in which I have not practical experience, exposure, and specific training. So my dear friends who question my training this area, I'll get there in a second. There's a need for clearly structured and well-coordinated mentorship program within our schools. My experience and exposure tell me mentorships work. They absolutely work. Recently, well, before we get that, go back during my final years in college in New York, I was the president of the Big Brother Big Sister program of the city, reaching out and mentoring the students of 2 school districts in Europe, the Schenectady School District and the Esteemed School District. We were always for the impact. We were always praised for the impact we had. To this day, some 44, 45 years later, the program is still functioning with similar success. And trust me, you cannot just pick up 20-year-old students and put them into